On today's show, raw adventure in Minnesota's only national park. We discover an absolute gem of hidden lake where the fish of 10,000 casts comes to hand more often than you might think. Then we get ready for the great Minnesota get-together. Today's Wild in the Kitchen recipe includes a stick and a fish. And we revisit a favorite Minnesota-bound classic where nature takes flight inside a most colorful state fair stop.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's Select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Bill and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
You know, up first today, we're going to seek out raw adventure in Minnesota's only national park.
Travis Frank set out to discover a gem of a hidden lake.
In the land of 10,000 lakes, Voyageurs National Park hides a little-known gem called Shoepack. Few have seen it, even fewer have fished it. Scott McIntoon and I are geared up to do both.
Do we really need this much stuff to live for one night?
Larry Warrington owns Arrowhead Lodge, a family fishing resort on Lake Cabotogama. He also captains a water taxi, giving rides into Minnesota's only national park.
I take people to the trailheads that lead to the interior lakes, and I drop them off with their gear.
At a cut in the bank, Larry drops us onto the trail to Shoepack Lake.
Got her? I got it.
Thanks for the ride. We'll see you tomorrow.
I gotta go up, gotta go over, paddle across this lake. The campsite's right up there. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Oh!
Down a path better built for deer, musky rumors fuel our mission.
What do they say? The most rewarding experiences are the ones that
You have to work
you have
for.
to work for.
We working?
We're working.
Shoepack Lake has one way in and one way out.
It's a limited entry system, meaning you need to reserve a permit with the Voyageurs National Park and the Park Service. And for that very reason, you'll have complete isolation.
We're here.
And a set of keys.
I hope this baby works. All right, sir. This is our ride.
A short paddle brings us to a second portage
Nothing to it.
and our final destination.
Look at this. We're here. We'll call her the Muskie Queen. Unleash the Muskie Queen.
Fisheries biologists believe Shoepack Lake holds Minnesota's largest muskie population per acre.
400 adult fish in about a 250-acre lake. So when you look at fish per acre densities, this is going to be one of the highest in the state.
If you've ever wanted to have a lake all to yourself, come to Shoepack.
Oh.
Rock there.
On the lake's only campsite, we put a stake into our 5-hour journey.
We made it. My gut tells me a muskie eats a bucktail, and these fish should be no different.
There's sort of this reputation with muskies, this fish of 10,000 casts, and this is your opportunity to come to a place where you can really help your odds out.
Got one. Got one.
That might be an understatement.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's real. It's happening. It's really happening.
Just like that, rumors become reality.
That is not even close to the biggest muskie of my life, but one of the coolest. Oh. Slimy high five. That was about 10 casts into my Shoepack Lake adventure. We'll see if we can repeat that. Oh my gosh! Unbelievable. That thing just went airborne. Just a flawless fish. Probably has never been caught before. Are you kidding me? 2 casts in a row. This is insane. Here's the business end. Got one? Nice fish. That's a nice muskie. Yeah!
Miles from another soul, Shoepack Lake gives us everything we came for and more.
Oh! It's like, it's not even like if, it's just how many casts until it happens. There's a, got it. Old Shoepack strain muskie. Oh my goodness. Be gone.
Back at camp, we substitute fresh fish for steak cooked over an open fire.
You know, all of the work just makes all of this so much more rewarding. I'll take this over any 5-star restaurant. Look at the view.
For a moment, we pause to reflect, neither of us knowing our wilderness adventure still holds a fishing first.
How addicting is that?
Straight ahead, a bit of Shoepack Lake history helps us understand why this lake is so darn special.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC Dealers, Alumacraft, Chase on the Lake, and by Connecticut.
Welcome back to the show. It's time to continue our adventure as Travis Frank goes back in time to give us a little history of Shoepack Lake.
Smoke on the water signals the start of a new day. Northwood's music brings this remote wilderness to life. Scott McIntoon and I came here for the solitude and, of course, the fish. Shoepack Lake hides in the heart of Voyageurs National Park. Muskies here hold a unique place in Minnesota's fishing story.
This is a lake that naturally has high muskie density. They've been here for about 10,000 years.
Good morning, Muskies. Are you ready to eat breakfast? Bucktails for breakfast.
It's not hooked up with Rainy or Cabotogama. It's distinct. It's by itself.
Oh no!
These fish have been isolated, so their genetics has been really unique.
In 1953, Minnesota's DNR biologists discovered this untouched resource. They stripped muskie eggs from Shoepack Lake in hopes of building the state's muskie population.
What better place to go than a place where they're super thick?
Got him! Oh. That was so cool. Picked it up right where we left off. That is a sweet fish.
Unfortunately, Shoepack Lake's muskies had a problem.
Over time, anglers were reporting the fish weren't getting real big, a little dissatisfied with the result. And after a genetics study was done that did indeed show that, yeah, these fish grow really slow and don't get real big maximum lengths like you see with other muskies.
By 1990, Shoepack Lake's muskie stocking program came to an end. This strain of fish, once again, left alone.
It's now kind of its own unique footnote in the history of muskie stocking in Minnesota.
What these muskies lack in size, they make up for with excitement and numbers.
Is he still there?
I think he's gone now. Oh, the opportunity to catch a lot of fish, it makes up for all those dry spells that we all have.
Including the rare opportunity to catch a muskie on the fly.
Oh, here he comes, he's right behind it,
Got one, he's right on it, he's right on it. Twitch it, twitch it. Nice. Oh my gosh. Scott, that was so awesome. Your first muskie on the fly. Yeah! For two addicted anglers, there's your fly, there's a muskie. Here you go, Scott. I'll get your picture. A single photo highlights a journey impossible to forget. What an awesome fish, man. There he goes. What a way to end. Nicely done. Nice. Woo!
I'm not going to forget this trip. It was great. It was everything I thought it was going to be and probably even better.
Shoepack Lake, a wilderness muskie experience worth the hunt to find.
So we're just gonna go about 4 to 5 minutes.
Coming up next, we get wild in the kitchen. Today's recipe should make you think of the Minnesota State Fair.
Very good.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Minnesota Rebat.
We're getting wild in the kitchen today with Chef Kevin Cabalson from Firelight Grill House and Cocktail Bar. And Chef Kevin, 'tis the season for the Great Minnesota Get-Together, the State Fair.
It certainly is.
And when we go to the State Fair, we always like to eat everything on a stick. So today, what are we making?
Walleye on a stick.
I love it.
So here come the potatoes.
So how many potatoes do we have in here?
That's 1 pound.
1 pound.
Yeah, those are russets.
Fully boiled?
Yep, just so they're mashable. So first thing we're gonna do is some jalapeno.
Ooh, we're adding a little spice to the mix.
Yeah. So that's 1 tablespoon. That's seeded and just chopped rough. Then we're gonna do some scallion. This is 2 tablespoons. Green onions, the white and yellow. Parsley. Then we're gonna zest a lemon.
See, I have to use 2 hands to crack the eggs. I haven't graduated from chef school.
We're gonna add a little bit of this panko. This is Japanese breadcrumb.
Is that 2 cups?
This is about 1/2 cup right here is what we're gonna
half a
add. We're
cup.
gonna save the rest of this for the breading on the outside.
Got it. More folding, if anything.
All right, so next we're gonna take the skin off this filet. So if you buy this from the store or use wild caught, something that you have in your freezer, it's gonna come a couple of different ways, obviously. This one is a frozen one that we use at the restaurant, from Minnesota, of course. But we take the skin off and then we're gonna V-cut all these bones out of here. And then we're just gonna cut it into little pieces.
So we're gonna poach this in water for how many minutes?
I would say 2 minutes.
Easy enough. How many fillets do we have that we're poaching?
That's 3 all day. About 1.25 pounds.
All right, is it the 2-minute warning on the walleye?
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Poached walleye coming right in. Look at that, so
is hot.
good.
So we can let that chill for a little bit. Spatula and just fold it in.
Start folding.
And our last step is to, we're just gonna add a little salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah, so this is about 1 teaspoon.
Perfect. Fold that right in. All right, now comes the fun part.
The rolling, yeah.
Yes.
So we've got some bamboo skewers here. And I would suggest using bamboo or wood, just because when you fry them on the metal, it's gonna be really hard to handle. Just gonna kind of squeeze it together. And if your mixture's too wet, you can always add a little more Japanese panko, the breadcrumb,
Sure.
just to dry it up. So squeeze that. And then we're gonna roll it in the panko breadcrumb. Put our sharp skewer in there.
We are ready to fry these
All
up.
right, so I've got some oil here set
Okay.
at 350. So we're just gonna do this in a couple of different batches so we don't overload the oil.
Obviously, be very careful when you're placing these in the oil.
So we're just gonna go about 4 to 5 minutes. They'll get nice and golden brown. I think we're golden.
Look at these beauties. We've got walleye on a stick. Well, Chef Kevin, corn dogs, move over. These look
Right.
so good.
Yeah.
So final step is a little fresh squeeze of lemon.
Yeah, I think so. Some fresh lemon would brighten it up.
It's always delicious with walleye. All right, Chef Kevin, these look delicious. Indeed, the walleye is staying on the stick, and we know that anything that you eat on a stick always tastes that much better anyway, right? Very good. Delicious.
This is a monarch caterpillar.
Straight ahead, a most colorful Minnesota-bound classic.
They're out there in nature, they're flying around.
Butterflies take flight at the State Fair.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by the Yard maintenance-free outdoor furniture, Running Aces Casino and Racetrack, BentCreek Golf Club Eden Prairie, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Today's Minnesota-bound classic sticks with a little bit of a state fair theme. We go back in time to see where nature and color meet at the fair.
$2 back. Hi, how many?
Hi, 2.
$6. Out of 10, $1 back. Thank you. That is a caterpillar, and it's going to turn into a Cecropia moth. Yeah. Just one? Okay.
Well, this is the 15th year of butterflies at the Minnesota State Fair. We bring them in from Costa Rica, Tanzania, Panama, Honduras, the Philippines. About 210,000 people a year will either walk by, stop, or come into the butterfly house, making it one of the most popular attractions at the fair. I started raising butterflies about 20 years ago full-time from my family's Christmas tree farm up in the St. Croix Valley. We used a chemical that killed everything but the Christmas trees and milkweed. So we started to sell the monarchs in the back of catalogs. And the business eventually just went crazy, and we started doing butterfly houses. What he's doing right now is he is attaching the pupa of the giant owl butterfly from Costa Rica, which looks exactly like a leaf, but it's not. They actually moved. They moved to try to shake off a parasite, or if there's a lizard or something that they're trying to get them. They also have small spines on the back. It's not much, but it's all they've got. Here you can actually see the butterflies hatching out. They go from chrysalid to butterfly after they've been glued onto these rags. The whole process, once they start to emerge, takes about 2 hours.
He has butterflies on his foot, and it's been there for like the whole time. Mine's been here the entire time. Even if I do this, he never goes away.
I accidentally spilled Coca-Cola on my arm, so all of the butterflies are landing here to lick it off. I come here every year because this is the best place. Usually when there's not a lot of people, you can just sit down. Butterflies will land on you.
The appeal of butterflies is pretty universal. Everyone understands that they're very fragile, very delicate. They do get some handling in there, and we pick butterflies that can be handled. The largest wingspan is that of the Atlas moth. The Atlas moth has the largest wingspan of any butterfly or moth in the world. They get to be about 14 inches across. And here we have everybody's favorite, the monarch. That's a morpho, considered by many the most beautiful butterfly in the world. If people really get excited, we have butterflies inside that we do sell. This is what started it all. This is a monarch caterpillar, and in about 10 days it'll be a butterfly, and it will migrate to Mexico. And it's a pretty cool thing. We sell them in the exhibit. People can come here and buy them, bring them home. They're a pollinator. They're out there in nature, they're flying around. They help convert carbohydrates into protein, so they're a valuable part of the food chain. I don't know of anybody who doesn't like butterflies. It only brings joy and beauty to everyone.
That place has become a staple at our state fair.
It sure has. And if you want to do your part to help save the monarch butterfly, you can plant some milkweed in your own backyard. Well, that about does it for us. We'll see you back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors. Fly like butterflies.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com. And to follow our latest adventures, like us on Facebook.